Hi, I'm Mike Ball, author of The Face of Battle. In today's episode, we're going to look at Cangames Part 2, the Juno Beach Assault scenario. For this scenario, I allocated 4 hours of convention time. I had 2 German players and 4 Canadian players. The 2 German players had never played The Face of Battle before. 2 of the Canadian players had played before, and the 2 other Canadian players had not. That means 4 brand new players to play this great scenario using The Face of Battle rules. I hand each player their deck of cards, a squad reference sheet, sheets 3, 4, and 5, which are your firearm, explosions, and mishaps, your commonly used tables, a soldier movement card, and if they have a machine gun or submachine gun, the beaten zones. I then go over the objectives of the scenario. The Canadian objective is to get across the beach, over that seawall and into the town. The German objective is to stop them. One German player commanded the machine gun, the 20mm flak, the mortar, and had 1 squad. The other German player commanded the 50mm anti-tank gun. He had a sniper in the buildings as well as a support squad. The Canadian players had roughly 1 squad in each of the landing crafts, medics, a bagpiper. They also had Bangalore torpedoes to get the wire on top of the seawall. They had demolition charges to breach the seawall to let the tanks into the town. They also had tanks arriving throughout the scenario. Next thing I go over is kind of the scale of the game. How far can they move or shoot when their card is drawn? Machine guns, rifles, anti-tank guns, they can shoot clear across the table. Some machine guns are shorter range. And how far they can move when their card is drawn. Now the great thing about the Face of Battle rules at a convention, think about there's noise going on, it's chaos, stuff going around, is I tell the players, especially brand new players, only concentrate on the card draw and the soldiers who numbers on that card. Don't worry about all the other rules of heavy weapons, of tanks. What is that soldier going to do? Move or shoot? So if a player asks me when they draw a card that they want to move, I simply say, you can move 5 inches, or you can move a double move and you become fatigued. They get it pretty easily. Now, if a player wants to shoot, I make sure everybody's concentrating on me and I go over the shooting rules. Basically, your CV, add a few modifiers like range, is the target moving. People get it quite easily because there's usually only a few modifiers in play. Once they hit the target, you look at the terrain type, open to hard cover, and go from there.
-7 to 3. Did you fail that? You rolled an 8 on a morale check.
Usually after 2 or 3 card draws, the players can move and shoot by themselves. That's the beauty of the Face of Battle card system. You only have to concentrate on the card that is drawn.
I have no medic, so my wounded guy, what does he do?
So the Canadian players did something I didn't expect. I thought they'd be trying to get off the beach as quickly as possible. They were using the advancing card and some of their leadership action cards to move, but they were using a lot of the soldier cards to throw smoke. So that smoke was causing real hindrance to the German players. It was blocking their machine gun, the sniper in houses, as well as any small arms fire would have to be taking a smoke modifier of ×2, shooting into the beach. So as you know, anybody running a scenario at a convention, you just never know what the players are going to do, which sometimes can be a real nightmare, or it could all blow up in your face, or in this case, it worked out really well for the Canadian players. So here we can see all the smoke along the seawall. It was really protecting their advance across the open beach. What was really causing the most damage to the Canadians as they came across the beach was the mortar fire. It was devastating. It probably took out half of one squad and half of another squad. So for the soldiers that made it to the seawall, they entered into a new nightmare. The 50mm anti-tank gun in the bunker could fire up and down the seawall. So under this heavy fire, they still had to set their Bangalore charges and their demolition charges. One time, the Bangalore charge went off by accident, killing a few of the Canadian soldiers.
You gotta remove that fatigue before you want to start. Boom! Whoops!
So whether you're operating the anti-tank gun or the tank themselves, the players got the hang of it very quickly. Loader card loads it, gunner card fires the main tank gun, loader card loads the anti-tank gun, gunner card fires the anti-tank gun. Play was going on really fast.
Okay.
Why can't I find C3?
going to jump up and do
Killed a
the
lot of
same
guys.
thing.
He's probably dead.
By the end of the first turn, the Canadians had lost about a third of their figures on the beach. But now the duplex drive tanks were starting to show up, and things were going to get really exciting. The German player was allowed to move between all the buildings without being detected. They had a series of underground tunnels. So it was very confusing for the Canadians players where a sniper would pop up here and then a sniper would pop up over there. It made for a very fun game. The Canadians finally blew the seawall with the demolition charges. This allowed the duplex drive tanks to go up and into the town. This caused a lot of trouble for the German players.
Alright, vehicle movement.
I got a weapon.
As you can see from that clip, the Canadian players had already mastered vehicle movement combat by the end of the second turn. The 20mm flak in the roof there had already been taken out by small arms fire and mortar fire from the beach. Now the Canadians concentrated on the anti-tank gun and managed to take that out by close assaulting it. The mortar team became under direct fire from one of the duplex drive tanks. So machine gun fire as well as HE rounds pummeled the mortar position, and it eventually capitulated. So by the end of the game, the Canadians had pushed well into the village. They had eliminated all the heavy weapons of the German players. It was a Canadian victory. Oh, and I do apologize for not having a lot of video content at the convention. It was hard for me to run the game, make sure everything was playing smoothly, and also film for this episode. So maybe next time I'll get someone to help me out. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'd love to know your comments.